Hey everybody, and welcome to tonight's class where we're going to be talking about sleep. Yes, you could turn on the class and just listen, and maybe the soothing sounds of my voice would put you to sleep. If that's the case, fantastic. If not, wake up! No, I don't know. Anywho's, so tonight we're going to be talking about sleep, and sorry for the jump scare if that happened, but we're talking about how to set yourself up for success. So one thing I want to talk about is, are you hydrated enough? Are you getting enough water in your diet, half your body weight in fluid ounces per day? If so, fantastic. Move on. The next thing, how and what is your bed like? Are you in a bed that is a inner spring bed, like a Sealy Posturepedic? Okay, how old is it? Is it more than 4 to 6 years old? If it is, you probably need to replace it because the metal in those wear out and cause pressure points, right? One will be weaker than another one. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and grab 2 paper clips out of the same box. Those are produced on the same line, right? Same metal, same everything. Grab those, start bending them, okay? And count how many bends. And I bet you one bends and takes longer than the other one before it breaks. Same with the springs in the bed. Different alloys, you can't get it completely homogeneous, so it's going to have that different level of spring, and it's going to end up causing issues down the road. But you still get about 6 years out of them, okay? And then we can talk about things like the wonderful world of memory foam. A lot of people love memory foam. And memory foam's good as long as your body secretions, by that I mean your sweat, right, aren't getting to the memory foam. If that's the case, then it's eating it away, it's breaking it down very, very quickly. You're talking about 4 years life if that's the case, especially if you're a hot sleeper, if you sweat a lot when you sleep. Or if you have that and it's thermal cycling. Maybe you don't like to turn on the air conditioner in the summers, or you don't like to turn on the heat in the winter, and you're going 10 to 15, maybe even 20 degrees thermal cycling every day. If it's 5 or so degrees, it's not going to really change much. 10 degrees, probably not so much. 20, definitely, right? Especially if you're getting to where it's getting down, like, let's say this is something you have at your cabin or your camper. A lot of people tell me, well, I have a great memory foam bed. I wish it was like that one in my camper. I would love that. Well, that's because your memory foam in your camper is broken, right? So it is heating up like days like today. Inside that camper is probably nearly 100 degrees, okay? Because it's like 80 degrees outside. And so that just baking on it. And in the winter, it gets down 20s, teens, right? So you're thermal cycling somewhere 70 to 100 plus degrees, right? That is not good for memory foam. So keeping it a constant temperature is best for that. And then you're looking about 8 years, okay? Air chamber beds, those are fantastic. They do still have memory foam. And Sleep Number, the bed that I have and that I recommend personally and professionally, they have a mattress cover that is impermeable. It breathes, yet it is impermeable to fluids. So that means that your sweat and whatnot does not get to the bed. And so it does not break it down. They actually warranty it too. If anything were to actually make it all the way through, they'll fix or replace your bed. So, I mean, that's huge. And they have a decent warranty, and they're upwards of like 15 years for life cycles on those. So, you know, we're talking 4 to 6 years, or we're talking 15. I'd rather go with 15, right? But again, there's certain things you have to take into account. You have to have it, you know, thermally equal, as close to that as possible. For instance, today I woke up and it was a little bit warmer than what we typically have it in the house, so I turned the air on, right? Does that mean I leave my air conditioner on? No. If it gets cool later this week, I'll turn it back off, you know. But I don't like it to cycle more than a few degrees. So that's a big thing. And then we can talk about what you do at night. Do you doom scroll? Do you have your phones on? You know, if you have your phone on, What that's doing is it's creating alpha brain waves, I believe it's the alpha, that start producing you to be awake. And so it takes you longer to get into REM, or rapid eye movement, which is when your body heals. And that's really the reason why we're talking about this today. We're talking about sleep because that's when your body heals, and that's why I am so passionate about making sure you get the right sleep, okay? And so I've had some patients say, well, Doc, I use melatonin to sleep. How's that working for you? Are you using it once in a blue moon, or are you using it nightly? Because if you're using it nightly, well, your body is now dependent on it. So you've replaced what your body normally makes with whatever is out there, and that's why you're having to take more and more, because your body stops producing it, right? Very much like a smoker starts out maybe smoking a few cigarettes, and then eventually is a half a pack, and then it's a pack, and then it's a pack and a half, then it's a 2-pack kind of thing, okay? Because the brain stops producing a neurotransmitter called nicotinamide. So if you're going to get it from outside sources, your body's like, well, why do I have to make it? That seems kind of silly. And so it stops, right? So keep that in mind. Now, I'm not saying if you happen to live in the country and you go ahead and you travel to Chicago and sirens and everything else, and you take a couple of melatonin to help you sleep that night. That's not what I'm talking about, right? 2, 3, 4 days, not what I'm talking about. Several months, that's what I'm talking about, okay? So if you're doing that, you probably shouldn't, okay? And it's going to suck because getting back to your circadian rhythm is going to be extremely difficult. It just is. But it's doable. You have to unplug. You have to go ahead and take your phones and plug them in the living room. Use an old-fashioned alarm clock, right? Something with a red light, not a blue, not a green, red lights, okay? Those don't activate the brain pathways. So where green has blue in it, will definitely activate those neural pathways and keep you awake, okay? And take your phones, put them outside of the bedroom. And lo and behold, you will sleep so much better. But it's going to take time, okay? It's going to take a couple of weeks. They say roughly if you were to truly reset your circadian rhythm, it takes 10 to 14 days of zero electronics, meaning no lights, meaning going camping in the woods for 2 weeks, and the only type of light source that you might have is a flame. Now I know you're going, well, how am I going to do that? I'm not going to be able to do that. So I understand that. That's why I say it takes a long time. It takes 2 weeks doing it completely, restricted like that. It's going to take even longer if you're not. Okay, so expect it 1 to 2 months to get your sleep back into proper order. But it's doable, okay? Look around your room. What do you have? Do you have a TV in your room? If so, get it out of there, okay? Do you have clocks or other electronics that have lights that they emit? If so, get them out of there. I found a plug in my room, right, that has a little blue light on it. I got rid of it. Okay? Can't have it. Even though I love the fact of a house that is a little automated, right? That I can flip on my phone, turn the lights on, turn the lights off, whatever. Program certain things. So I know that, at 9:30 when we're getting ready to go to bed, that the light comes on in the bedroom. I love that type of stuff. But if it's producing a blue light, you're never going to get great sleep. So we got to get rid of it or somehow cover it up. Okay. And that's key. So how are you going to fix and set up your room for success? What are you going to do to better this for yourself and for your loved ones? If your kids have their Nintendo and TV and all this stuff in their room, it's not doing them any good. And what's interesting, you get rid of it now, by the time school comes around, they're going to be doing so much better in school. They're going to be able to focus so much better. They're going to be able to pay attention to things that they need to pay attention to instead of right? God knows we've all been there. I'm probably just as guilty as any of you out there with doom scrolling at night. I love to sit there and just scroll and listen to things. And because in my brain, I like to get my creative thought process going because it helps me fall asleep. But there's a better way to do that. And that would be reading a book. Okay. So if I were to grab actual paper or a Kindle, right? Not the backlit Kindles, but a real Kindle. Not, I think it's Kindle Fire. So an actual Kindle that has no light emitting on it whatsoever, and read that, that's perfectly fine, right? You got to be careful about the things that you have up right there. So how is your room set up? What is your bed like? Are you hydrated enough? These are all questions you need to ask yourself. Are you taking any supplementation that maybe you might not need to take? Talk to your doctors about that, right? There's a lot of stuff out there. Oh my gosh. So many patients are taking so much stuff and everybody's being sold. Okay. You'll find I typically don't sell to my patients with supplementation. Do I have some? Yes. I mean, you look over here, you can see some sitting up there. Okay. But not a lot. Okay. There are certain things that I absolutely think are necessity for a lot of people. Fish oil, absolutely. A lot of people are not getting enough omega-3 fatty acids in their diet, which is a huge thing for your neurological systems. They don't have a good mineral that they're getting, multi-mineral, multivitamin. Because a lot of people are deficient. They're deficient in vitamin B. They're deficient in vitamin D. They're deficient, in so many different things. So yeah, there are some out there that are good. But there's a lot of people that are trying to make a profit that don't really truly care about the quality or about what you truly need. There was a patient came to me the other day and was talking about supplement and said, hey, I really want to see what this is. I went and looked at it, and it's not bad, but it's not good. Okay. I would rate it as C+. It has a lot of things in it that are perfectly okay. And it has some things in it that really don't need to be there. And it has some things in just massive quantities that really aren't going to do any good, right? You're not able to absorb. If it has, 10,000 IUs of whatever, and your body's only able to absorb 400 IUs, well, why the heck am I taking 10,000, right? So those are all things that you got to look at. And then you got to ask yourself, well, who's promoting it? Are these being promoted by celebrity? If so, they're getting paid a handsome amount to promote this stuff. Okay? The vast majority of times. I'm sure there's outliers, but the vast majority of times somebody's getting paid a lot. I don't get paid a lot on this stuff when I sell this stuff. It's not advertised on TV. In fact, you can't get the supplements that I recommend unless you go to a physician, right? You have to go see a licensed chiropractor or medical doctor in order to get these things, right? So they're not sold on Amazon. They're not sold, and if they are, they're probably fake. So that's a big thing, okay? So let's review. How are you sleeping? What kind of bed? What kind of supplements are you taking? Are you taking too much, too little? What kind of water are you drinking? Right? Are you drinking too much, too little? And what electronics do you have going when you're getting ready for bed? How soon should you shut those off? An hour to 2 hours before you go to bed. Okay? So if you're setting yourself up for success, you're better apt to actually succeed. Otherwise, you're actually planning to fail. So I want to help you to succeed. So I hope you've learned something out of this, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the coming days. And as always, reach out. I'm here to help. I'll talk to you guys soon.